Hi, I am Prasandip. In this video, we will learn about HTML attributes. HTML attributes are special words which provide additional information about the elements. Each HTML element can have attributes which defines the behavior of that element. Here are a few points to remember while working with HTML attributes. Attributes should always be applied within the start tag. They cannot be applied on the closing tag. Every attribute should always be applied with its name and value pair. So this is the name of the attribute and this is its value. The attribute name and values are case sensitive, and it is recommended that they should be written in lowercase only. We can add multiple attributes in one HTML element, but must give a space between two attributes. So while working with multiple attributes, we need to separate them with a space. Now we will see some common HTML attributes. The href attribute. This is an example of an href attribute. Here we have an A tag. This A tag is used to go from one HTML document to another HTML document with the help of links. So this is the URL to which the link goes to. Now let's see how this works in code. First, we will create an HTML file and name it HTML elements, and the file extension should be .html. We will open this HTML file in Sublime Text. Let's put our Sublime Text window on the bottom left part of the screen, and let's have our slides on the top left part. Now let's write our code in the text editor. We have an A tag and the href attribute. So this is the link that our HTML document will take us to, and let's write a text Wikipedia because this is the link to Wikipedia. Let's save it and now run it in browser. Let's put our browser on the right side. This A tag is giving us this link. When we click this, we are redirected to Wikipedia. So this A tag and mainly this href attribute is for redirecting to a particular link that is specified. The next attribute we have is the style attribute. The style attribute is used to add styles to an element. So this is an example of a p tag with the style attribute. Now let's see it in action. So this style, this is the attribute name, and the color blue is its value. Let's see what we get. Let's refresh and we see that the text is blue. The style attribute with the color blue value gives us a blue text. Next, we have the title attribute. The title attribute adds some extra information about an element, and the value of the title attribute will be displayed as a tooltip when we mouse over the element. So when we mouse over this element, we should have a tooltip. Let's see. I am a tooltip. So it shows a tooltip, and this is rendered because of the title attribute. Now let's see how we can add multiple attributes to our element. We can add multiple attributes in one HTML element but we must give a space between those attributes. So here we can see that we have a style attribute and a title attribute, and these two attributes are separated with a space in between. Style equals to the attribute and the value, color blue. And next attribute we have the title attribute. Let's write some content, a red. Oh, that is not red. So this should be red. Now let's see how it renders. So here we have combined two attributes together. Similarly, we can have more than two attributes in a single HTML element. So HTML standard does not require quotes around attribute values. However, it is recommended because sometimes the value will not be rendered properly if we miss the quotes. Why do we need to quote attribute values? Let's see the example. Let's start with the first example where there are no quotes, which is not recommended, by the way. We see that the tooltip is not displaying properly. It should be not recommended, but only not is being displayed here. It is because we did not use any quotes. And when we do not have any quotes, the browser does not know where our attribute value ends. So it is being terminated over here, but we need to have the whole thing. So for that, we always need to quote our attribute values. Let's just copy it and paste it and use double quotes around our attribute value. And let's see how it works. So we have our whole tooltip over here. So to ensure that our values will be rendered properly, we always need to quote our attribute values. Single or double quotes. So what kind of quotes do we need to use? Double quotes around attribute values are the most common in HTML, but single quotes can also be used. When the attribute value itself contains double quotes, it is necessary to use single quotes. Let's write the first example in our text editor. So here we see that we have single quotes wrapping the whole value, but inside the value we also have double quotes around this text. So when we hover over, we see the tooltip. Let's see what happens if we just use the single quote. So here this Sublime text is trying to tell us that we have some error in our code. So only the first text is rendered and the others are neglected. In order to display our text properly, we need to use single quotes around double quotes or double quotes around single quotes according to the situation. John Handsome Doe. In this video, we learned what HTML attributes are, and we saw what points we need to remember while working with HTML attributes. We also worked with some common HTML attributes, the href attribute, the style attribute, and the title attribute. We also learned how we can use multiple HTML attributes in a single HTML element. And we saw why we always need to quote our HTML attribute values. And lastly, we saw why we might need to use both single and double quotes in a single HTML attribute value. So this concludes the video. Stay safe, take care.